Hello. Hey, my friends. Welcome to today's live stream where we will be discussing some very powerful health information that will help you to clean your body of viruses, pathogenic bacteria, heavy metals, rancid fats, over buildup of fats. I was cold a second ago, but all of a sudden, when the live stream starts, it gets a little bit hot for me. So, taking off my sweater. Hello, welcome. So, we're talking about how the medical medium information is very, very, very advanced health information that you can use to heal all sorts of different chronic illnesses that I've personally used myself to heal and reverse my eczema that I used to have all over my hands for my entire life. It caused me a lot of pain and suffering. And I went to many doctors and skin specialists and tried all sorts of topical creams that didn't work. And eventually, by when I discovered the medical medium information, I did his healing protocols with the celery juice, with the smoothie, with the lemon water, and eating the fruits and vegetables, and really understanding why I'm doing this. And then when I did this for a couple months, it totally healed and reversed my eczema that I was struggling with for over 20 years, healed and reversed my allergies. I struggled with allergies, like seasonal allergies, really bad, like mucus all in my the nasal passage area. It would move to my ears. I had asthma that I would get during the spring and the fall, and I couldn't sleep at night because my nose was just clogged. So the reason why this information is important to understand is because health is really the foundation of your self actualization. Really, I'm not here to try and convince you of my philosophy or of my ideology, or I'm not trying to sell you diet coaching, or I'm not trying to boost my credibility as a nutritionist or anything like this. I'm just trying to share with you some very powerful health information that can help your self actualization go a lot smoother. It can ultimately help you in your meditation, helping your mind to be clear, to be calm, helping your body to be pain free and to feel balanced, to feel emotionally balanced. And this creates a good, wholesome foundation for you to do meditation work, for you to turn your attention inwards, to do your visualization, your prayer, your mental purification and your spiritual purification work that ultimately leads you to ultimate happiness. So this is why I share the diet advice, because it's important for your body to be clean and for your brain to be fueled with the proper kinds of sugars and mineral salts that are so important coming from fruits, fresh fruits, like ripe bananas, wild blueberries, apples, dates, papayas, mangoes, and also the mineral salts that come from things like parsley, celery juice, spinach, arugula, leafy greens, and then of course all of those healthy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash, cabbage, zucchini. These foods are very powerful. They have healing qualities. Many of them are antibacterial, antifungal. Many of them help to purge and cleanse the liver of stored toxins, including things like gasoline fumes, scented candles and certain fragrances like colognes and deodorants. A lot of these scents, air fresheners, a lot of this stuff, smoking, like said, flavored joints or whatever it is. A lot of this stuff, these chemicals, not to mention, all the stuff in the water, the copper, the lead, the chlorine, the fluoride, the mercury, the arsenic, all of this, it gets stored in your liver and it bioaccumulates for 10 years, 20 years. A lot of it's been passed down from your mom and your dad even when you're in the womb. If your mom has a certain amount of mercury or lead or arsenic inside her body, a lot of that gets passed on to you through the umbilical cord, and you just have these toxins in your liver, in other areas of your body, could be in your thyroid, even in your brain, in your kidneys, and this bioaccumulates over time. So we're living in a culture where by the time you're 20 or 30, you're pretty much expected to have some sort of health problem. For me, I started very young. When I was 1 years old, I had chronic eczema. I had bad allergies and asthma and this kind of stuff. But most people, by the time you get to the age of 20 or 30, you end up with some sort of symptom, whether it's a thyroid condition, some sort of random allergy that just develops all of a sudden. You become severely allergic to apples or kiwi or squash or whatever it is. You may get brain fog. You may get certain chronic addictions, which can actually be rooted in certain physiological nutrient deficiencies, like sugar deficiency, mineral salt deficiency. These can actually lead to certain addictions, addictive tendencies, depression as well, indigestion, skin problems, nervous system issues like fibromyalgia, or shaky legs, even things like tinnitus or Parkinson's. There's essentially a lot of disorders and diseases that our medical system, the way it's currently formed, doesn't really understand the cause of, I'd say, 90% of these chronic illnesses. And of course, it's not my opinion. This is what we're learning in the medical medium information, and this is what we're sharing. So, what makes the medical medium information so much more powerful than just random diet advice? Because, of course, there's diet advice of all kinds. There's vegan people telling you that their diet's the best. There's paleo people telling you their diet's the best. There's keto people. There's doctors telling you about this sort of Eastern Indian diet, and then there's this sort of Ayurveda, and then there's Chinese medicine, and there's all of these different diet philosophies: high fat, low fat, eggs, no eggs, carnivore, all this stuff. So it's confusing to make sense of, like, okay, so what's actually true, and what, like, you got to intuit there actually is a way to make a human being be healthy on the inside. And you can't just say, oh, well, we're all different, carnivore works for this guy, and then vegan works for this guy, and it just all depends on your genetics or whatever. That's kind of a cop out. Because at the end of the day, we have the same organs, we have the same metabolism, where our body is built with the same building blocks. We all have, our muscle tissue is made of the same stuff. So you just have to intuit what I'm trying to say, that there is a way for humans to be healthy. And what I've discovered in my journeys is that the medical medium information is a high quality source of information that stands above the rest for many reasons. So one of the main reasons that really wowed me when I first discovered the medical medium information is, first of all, it's very grounded and it makes a lot of common sense. So he's not talking about like chi energies or balancing your meridians or this kind of stuff. So it's not woo woo. It's very common sense. He's basically saying the root cause of most health issues is certain viruses, pathogenic bacteria like strep, and heavy metals and other foreign toxins like petrochemicals, industrial agents, chemical fragrances, and stuff that can build up in the body and cause sickness. They cause sickness in different ways depending on what kind of chemicals, what kind of metals, where they're located in the body, what kind of virus. Is it Epstein-Barr virus? Is it herpes? Is it HPV? Is it shingles? So it depends on what kind of virus, what it's feeding on in your body, and where it's located. That really is what determines most chronic illnesses. So, what puts the medical medium info on a different category than a lot of health information is the specific, detailed, clear descriptions and explanations of what causes chronic illness. And this is profound, very, 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 very profound because our current medical establishment, our current medical system, if you're someone who's ever struggled with chronic illness like spooky weight gain or chronic fatigue syndrome or ADD or depression or anxiety or skin problems, a lot of this, when you go to the doctor, you already have experienced firsthand that the doctors don't know what causes your illness. They're not clear about it, especially if it's one of these chronic illnesses that has a spooky or mysterious cause that's not so clear. So obviously I'm not saying doctors are bad people. I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to your doctor. I'm not saying that they're completely incorrect about everything. Of course, modern medicine and science is amazing, and we've made amazing advancements in technology. Like if your appendix bursts, of course, you can heal that. You can, do surgery. If you break your arm, you can set it and fix that. You can take tumors out of your brain and all of this stuff. So, of course, we've made amazing advancements in modern medicine. I'm not denying that, but one of the big gaps, the big flaws that is becoming more and more obvious as the years go on is that the medical system right now just doesn't have good explanations for why you have eczema or why you have acne or why you're gaining weight even though your diet has stayed exactly the same. All of a sudden you're gaining all this weight, or why you have ADD or autism or this kind of stuff. The theory is basically like, oh, it's your genetics. You're genetically born with skin problems, or you're genetically born with a miswired brain, or it's your immune system's fault. The reason why you have thyroid is just because for some reason your immune system has just randomly decided to attack itself. Hey guys, welcome. Hey Devin, oh, you bought Cleanse to Heal and the juicer. Nice, game changer. Awesome. Thanks for the support. I'm glad you did that. Yeah, we'll cover that in a second. Smoking weed and stuff. Yeah, I do smoke weed on occasion, and it's not really a big deal for me, especially because I do all these other cleanse protocols that we're talking about today. Um, I do enjoy smoking weed every once in a while, once every week, 2 weeks, whatever. I don't mind it. All right. Oh my God, I forgot what I was saying. Whew. Whew. Yeah. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. So the causes of chronic illness are not very well known in the medical community, and you have to be someone who has actually had an issue to really grasp this. If you're just someone who's like had pretty good health your entire life, you don't really have a reason to be a little bit doubtful of the answers that modern science and medicine is giving us. But if you're someone who has actually had a chronic illness or knows someone who has had and has been to specialists, been to doctors, and they just tell you, oh, it's your genetics, that's why you have eczema, Or it's your immune system is attacking itself for some reason. Your immune system has decided to just start attacking itself because you're fundamentally broken. Or even some doctors or naturopaths will even tell you, like, oh, you manifested your illness. You manifested it because you have bad thoughts. You've negative thinking. So the thing you need to really grasp before you can really open your mind to medical medium information, you need to really grasp that the explanations we currently have for a good 90% of chronic illnesses, there's a list here, right? He's on the back of his: acne, addiction, adrenal problems, aging, Alzheimer's, anxiety, autoimmune disorders, bloating, brain fog, burnout, cancer, cold and flu, conjunctivitis, constipation, depression, diarrhea, ear infections, eating disorders, eczema, endometriosis, eye floaters, fatigue, fibroids, fibromyalgia, glaucoma, guilt, sadness, hair thinning, hair loss, heart palpitations, random migraines and headaches, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, hormonal problems, HPV, skin problems, strep, thyroid, tumors, cysts, UTI, vertigo. You got to understand, a lot of this stuff, we don't actually have explanations for what causes it. And our explanations, when you compare it to what medical medium describes, you see that there's a difference in quality and in understanding. So if you go on, let's say, a Mayo Clinic or just a mainstream Med MD or whatever, and you go on, what causes eczema? They'll say, oh, well, it's a variety of, maybe it's your genetics is producing too much filaggrin, or maybe there's certain environmental factors like the seasons, or maybe you have allergies, or, that's what it is. So the vibe, you can get the general vibe is like, we don't really know. We're just kind of making it up based on whatever, that's obviously like, okay. So the vibe is, we don't know. It might be the weather, might be your genetics, might be this, but we don't know why you have eczema. I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe there's toxins, but we don't know. So then when you read medical medium information, though, he says, so specifically, if you have eczema, what that means is that there's a certain copper, that you have toxic copper in your liver. And this could have come from your mom. This could have come from polluted water or air, but you have a certain amount of copper that's in your liver. And you also have a virus that is Epstein-Barr virus or strep, which you need to understand, guys. Viruses are very prevalent in our society, and just there's viruses everywhere. You have viruses in your body right now. It's very important to understand. People are like, virus, where would I get the virus from? You get it from, you go to the store and you touch a shopping cart, and someone else who had the virus touched that shopping cart, and you rub your eye, and then it gets in, or you pick your ear or wherever and it gets in, or you pick your nose, or you shake someone's hand and then you bite your nails or whatever, and then it gets in. So of course you get viruses like the flu, but what most people don't understand is that there's two types of viruses. There's a flu like COVID or like a regular flu that is a short-term virus. So it stays in your system for maybe 2 weeks max, and then your body develops the antibodies and then kills it off. But there's also long-term viruses as well, such as Epstein-Barr virus, which actually can stay in your body for decades. It burrows into your liver, and it burrows into your thyroid, and it can slowly, it's like a stealth virus. It slowly stays under the radar of your immune system by burrowing deep into your organs. And when your immune system lowers, so maybe you do a cold plunge or whatever, and you shock your immune system, or you get into a massive argument with your girlfriend or your parents, or you get a flu, which lowers your immune system, or something, whatever happens. Maybe it's for women, often when they go through their menstruation cycle, it lowers their immune system. And or when kids go through puberty, right, it lowers your immune system, the hormones. So when your immune system gets lower just through life is stressful, right? The Epstein-Barr virus will then build its ranks. It builds its numbers. So it takes that opportunity, the chink in the defense, like you're playing chess. You see a weakness in your opponent's defense. In this case, it's your immune system. When the Epstein-Barr sees a weakness in your immune system, it advances its ranks. So it can move from the liver to the thyroid, or it can replicate, increasing its numbers. This is problematic because the virus can then eat copper, for example, in your liver, or it feeds on certain foods like eggs, like dairy, and like wheat gluten. These certain foods, they help the virus to reproduce, which is why in laboratories they can raise viruses in egg yolk and egg whites and cause them to replicate. Um, so when you have a lot of this egg fat that's in your liver, stays stuck in there. It's good food for Epstein-Barr virus and herpes and other kinds of viruses, causing them to replicate. Then what happens is that this virus can feed off this copper, and then it creates a certain waste product, which is a dermatoxin. Derma means skin. So it creates a skin toxin by eating the copper, which then causes eczema. It poisons your skin. So by doing something like drinking lemon water, but helping to flush, priming your body, drinking celery juice, which helps to loosen the copper from your liver and also helps to flush out a lot of the virus and a lot of the fats, like the egg whites and certain fats and things and bad bacteria that can feed viruses. There's rancid fats in your gut and so forth. The celery juice helps to kind of break down these fats to clean it out so that the viruses don't have homes to kind of harbor in, like the way plaque in your teeth. When the tartar hardens and then the bacteria lives in there, right? It's the same happens in your gut, in your stomach, and so forth. So the celery juice cleans that, washes it. Then you can do the heavy metal detox smoothie, which literally millions of people have claimed that has healed their illness, or in many cases, healed their illness. The heavy metal detox smoothie has wild blueberries, cilantro, it has Atlantic sea dulse, barley grass juice powder, and spirulina. So these 5 foods, they bind to metals in your body, and they can help to bind to that copper and get it out of the liver. And that can then heal and reverse your eczema from the inside out, which is what it's done for me, right? Which is amazing because it's something I struggled with really bad for my whole life, essentially. So the whole point I'm trying to make here is that look at the difference of explanation, of quality of explanation when it comes to like what causes chronic illness. You can go on MedMD and say, oh, well, we don't really know what causes your eczema. Maybe it's the environment or something, or maybe your genetics or whatever. But here, take this cream. We'll bill your insurance company $80 per tube, right? It's a steroid topical cream that doesn't heal any root problem at all. You just kind of it works a little bit, but not really, right? It's really expensive. You got to refill it. So think about just as a business model. If I was a pharmaceutical company, this is an amazing business model, because if someone has an internal problem like copper in their liver that's then feeding a virus and that's releasing dermatoxin and then poisoning their skin, and then the way to heal that is to get the metals out of the liver, and to kill the virus with something like celery juice and the heavy metal detox smoothie. If that person doesn't know that and they just go to the doctor, and the doctor's trained because the curriculum of what they learned in school, again, the doctor's not a bad person, they're a good person with a good heart, and they're trying their best, but the curriculum that they were taught in school is actually funded. There's a lot of influence by the corporate agenda of pharmaceutical companies. You got to understand, a medical textbook is funded billions of dollars by pharmaceutical companies. A lot of those studies and a lot of the science that's actually in those medical textbooks is put there due to pharmaceutical company funding, and the entire medical paradigm right now that we have is highly corrupt, highly corrupted by business interest, specifically from a pharmaceutical company. That, again, look at the business model here. If someone has a skin problem or an ADD, or they have a toe fungus, or they have some sort of chronic illness like a chronic depression or a chronic anxiety or chronic fatigue, or they have an autoimmune disorder, if they have Hashimoto's, oh my God, Hashimoto's and thyroid problems, this is a gold mine for a pharmaceutical company, because you can prescribe a pill, right? Each bottle of pills, let's say, costs $150, and you just bill it to the insurance company. You have to re-up it every month. This is like for a patient's entire lifetime. This is like millions of dollars. Like, you can make $1 million off of just one person. What kind of business do you know that can make $1 million off of a single person being sick? But let's say, just for example, what if this person found out that the thyroid problem that they have, hypothyroid, Hashimoto's, hyperthyroid, and these kinds of issues, what if that can be solved and healed by cleansing the body of Epstein-Barr virus, which, again, the medical medium in his book here, and he has books like Thyroid Healing, explains in detail that what causes these unknown thyroid problems that the medical establishment has no knowledge of. What causes Hashimoto's? You ask your doctor, he doesn't know. But here, sorry, I don't know why you have a thyroid problem. You just do. It's your genetics or something. Maybe you're too stressed. But here's the pill. It's $100. It's scientifically validated, of course, because the only science that is done in the field of medicine is science that can be profited off of. So, of course, there's science done for this pill, because a pill can be privatized. Something you got to understand. Celery juice can't be privatized, so there's no incentive to study it because it's a commodity. If someone puts in 10 million to fund a study that studies celery juice, double blind, and actually scientifically proves that it can massively help with thyroid issues, which it does. There's millions of anecdotal accounts in medical medium, and you can search for yourself tons of anecdotal accounts. If celery juice turned out to actually quantitatively help with thyroid problems, in the context of a scientific study, then who's going to profit off of that? Who profits off if we discover, let's say, that celery juice actually does help to heal a good 80% of chronic illnesses? Who profits off that? Does anyone make money off that? You might say, well, Adam, isn't it the job of the scientific community to research potential cures for illness? And the answer is yes. But so you might say, well, Adam, but if celery juice is so good, and what you're saying, the medical medium information is so powerful and can heal cancer, which it can and does and has, wouldn't that be the priority of science research, to be studying that? Because clearly, if the track record is so good, Adam, why isn't it being studied? Why isn't it already practiced by doctors? Why isn't your doctor recommending you celery juice? If it's so good, Adam, why doesn't medicine know about it? Because you're not understanding that the entire the way it works is that it's a business. It needs to profit. Someone has to make money at the end of the day. Who's making money if the celery turns out to actually be a better cure than your thyroid medication? And again, I'm not making any claims here. You ask your doctor about this. If have a thyroid problem or whatever, you can bring your doctor a medical medium book and actually say, hey, look, it says right here that thyroid problem is caused by Epstein-Barr virus burrowing into my thyroid and causing issues, and it can actually be healed here by celery juice. So, what do you have to say about this? Can you help me with this? Can you help me implement these protocols, maybe alongside the medication or whatever it is? So I'm not telling you to stop taking medication or any of this, just they got to cover my ass legally here. But what I am saying is that at the end of the day, your doctor, he literally, like, the whole system, you need to understand, won't the whole system of modern medicine will collapse if it turns out that fruits and vegetables and herbs and wild foods, when taken with intelligence and with knowledge that comes from 3,000 pages of books that have been channeled from a higher source, if it turns out that that's actually the way health works, you got to understand the whole system collapses. Billions of dollars are lost. Billions of dollars are lost. And you might say, well, Adam, this is a conspiracy theory you're saying. It can't be true. It's a conspiracy. Is it a conspiracy that I healed my eczema with celery juice and wild blueberries and cilantro? And you got to understand, I was already eating clean. So you can't just say, Adam, it's because you were eating McDonald's and then all of a sudden you started eating more fruits and vegetables. So of course you got better because you ate more fruits and vegetables. No. I was eating plenty of fruits and vegetables before. I was paleo for 2 years. I hadn't eaten bread in 5 years and I still had terrible eczema. I was vegan for a whole year and I still had problems. I was doing keto. I tried everything. The way your girlfriend gets rid of her acne is by going on medicalmedium.com and by looking up acne. Acne is caused by streptococcus bacteria. So if you have cystic acne, or doesn't have to do with your hormones, it has to do with, there's a streptococcus bacteria that's actually causing the acne. What you would want to do is you'd want to rid your body of the streptococcus. So there's ways you can do this. Number one is bringing celery juice into your life can destroy the streptococcus in the morning. There's medical medium protocols and cleanses that I have on my channel. So like the morning cleanse protocol, lemon water, celery juice, heavy metal detox smoothie, or just fruit. Other things like licorice root tea, parsley, these kinds of foods can destroy the virus. Also, foods you would want to avoid, which I was getting to, is eggs, dairy, and wheat. Okay? The reason why is because these foods are prime culprits for feeding streptococcus bacteria and other harmful viruses that contribute to the acne. So if you did, for example, like a 28-day cleanse, which he has in his book here, in Medical Medium, I forget exactly which book talks about acne. It might be Liver Rescue, but he definitely has an article on his website and a podcast. Okay, you listen to that. Okay, there's a 50-minute podcast. Go listen to that. It's 50 minutes long on medicalmedium.com, healing acne. Okay. Listen to that. It'll tell you what's causing it specifically, and you can implement some of the protocols that he gives there. And I'm very confident that you would get results within about 3 months. Okay. Of course, ask your doctor. He doesn't know what causes acne, but go ask him anyways, because that's what I legally have to tell you. All right. Yeah, you don't need a pill or a medic. I'm just telling you this like person to person. Okay. I'm not telling you this as a health professional or as a doctor or and anything like this, but person to person, you won't need acne medication or anything like this. You do need to understand what causes acne, which is why the medical medium information is so powerful, is because it tells you what the root of the problem is, which the doctor doesn't know. So how can he heal you if he doesn't know what the root of the problem is? And he's giving you a topical solution. So yeah, streptococcus bacteria in your body, that's causing acne. So people might say, Adam, the reason why you healed is just because you started eating more fruits and vegetables, and it has nothing to do with the medical medium information. But I'm saying, no, I actually was paleo, I was vegan, I was keto, all of these, diets. I've been eating healthy for over 8 years. I haven't had bread in a very long time. So the problem is it wasn't that I was eating shit. The problem was that I didn't know that certain foods like eggs, like tofu, like too much fat, too many nuts, too much oils. Now, there's nothing wrong with these, nuts and certain olive oils, coconut oil. They're not bad, but when you have too much, it can clog your liver and it can prevent it from cleansing properly. So the medical medium information isn't just eat more fruits and vegetables and you're good. It's not just like a reskinning of the Mediterranean diet, or it's not like, oh, Adam, science already knows that eating fruits and vegetables is good. No, 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 no. It's not like that. There's specific protocols and specific knowledge, like specifically celery juice specifically helps to break down the fats that are in your liver, that are in your colon, that harbor unproductive bacteria and viruses, that help to cleanse heavy metals with wild blueberries, cilantro, heavy Atlantic sea dulse. Of course, I'm not eating those foods if I'm on just a regular paleo diet or a regular vegan diet. Maybe I'll have cilantro once in a while, but doing it specifically with the specific knowledge that's coming from the medical medium information, that's what makes all the difference, is the specific knowledge to specifically avoid eggs, or to specifically avoid tofu, or certain oils like canola oil, or like dairy, or like wheat, right? So that's what makes all the difference there. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick pee. I'm way too hydrated. I had lemon water, celery juice, and a smoothie, so I'm gonna take a quick pee. I'll be back in 1 minute. Have a stretch break, guys. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back. Hello, I am back. Yeah, medical medium does like beans, chickpeas, lentils, black beans. Those are all right. He does have recipes on his website that include some of those. You can go on medicalmedium.com. Chickpeas, lentils, and black beans will not feed viruses in your body. Try to get the organic ones, and you can enjoy. Just remember, the main healing foods are fruits and vegetables. So chickpeas, lentils, and black beans can be a good accompaniment, but not the main course. If you want to also include your potatoes, your carrots, your cabbage, your Brussels sprouts, your asparagus, etc. But you absolutely can have chickpeas, lentils, and black beans. Yeah, those are fine. All right. So the main problem with medical medium information that people run into is that they just don't know if they can trust it. This is the main issue. So, there's 3,000 pages worth of books. There's detailed, dense, amazing, high quality, profound information in here. But the problem is it's an epistemological problem of, like, just how do I know it's true? Like, how can I verify it? It's just one guy that's giving his information. What, do I just have to take his word for it? That doesn't seem very scientific. or very logical, or that's that seems just like ideology. That's I'm not going to base my health information just on one guy. So what someone may read a medical medium book and then they'll say, okay, so how do I check to see what he's saying is true? Can I go on Google? Right. So you go on Google, and then the first thing that pops up is about 20 smear articles saying medical medium is a ghost whisperer, that celery juice doesn't heal anything. It's just water. It's just green water. Or the only reason people are healing is because they're more hydrated by drinking celery juice. People, there's all these smear articles, people saying medical mediums is scam, or it's pseudoscience, or it's you know so then that may discourage you, right? Because normally, just as a smart person that you are, you just want to check on Google just to see, like, is this stuff true? Like, how do I know? Like, how can I trust it? There's like literally so much health information out there. How do I know this health information is better than that health information? Right? So you go on Google, and then Google doesn't really help you very much, because the truth is modern science does not have many supporting studies to support medical medium information, because, like I mentioned before, celery juice, for example, has not been studied a single time in an academic or scientifically rigorous way. Not a single study has been done on celery juice. I'm going to open my window here. Let that sink in for a second. Not one. So there's many articles. People will say, like, Adam, celery juice has no scientific backing. Well, you gotta wait a second. There's also no scientific studies. So lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. Very important. This is the study hasn't actually been done. No one has studied celery juice. Why not? Like I mentioned before, where's the profit incentive? Where's the model? So, like, who's going to fund the study? First of all, who's funding it? It might take $10 million to get it double blind, peer reviewed, right? And then it may take another $10 million to then even market the actual findings to push it. So where's the money coming from? I think I need to start like a Kickstarter campaign myself. I need to fund the study. There's no business, there's no no one's fund, because you put in the money, and then all you get at the end of the celery juice study is the health and wellness of the masses. That's all you get, and that's not very profitable. You need to understand, guys. I'm sorry if you live in the idealistic reality where you think that science funding is actually the primary goal of it is to make the masses healthy and well. I'm sorry, that's not the number one agenda. Number one agenda is always profit, because science is expensive, guys. You need to understand this. Science is expensive. If celery juice, like I said, is so good and it actually obsoletes many medicines, not only are we not making money, but we're actually losing billions on privatized medicine. So, guys, you got to understand, for thousands of years, people have been knowing that herbs, plants, wild foods, fruits, vegetables, they have healing powers. Then you might say, Adam, but our life expectancy with the advancements of modern science has gone up for 80 to 80 years. We don't want to go regress back into the tribalistic times where people were eating leaves and believed in the forest spirits, and they were doing ritualistic human sacrifice. And we don't want to regress back into the barbaric times. We've increased our life expectancy so much with modern science, so clearly our medicine works. So this is a it's kind of a complicated point, but this is actually it's a mythological narrative. You need to understand that the increase in life expectancy is due to a lot of different things, not only medicine. There's a lot of different things that increase our life expectancy. There's less war. There's less when women give birth. One of the biggest causes of the lower average life expectancy in older cultures was that the birth mortality rate was terrible. The infant mortality rate was very low. Sorry, very high. A lot of babies would die when they're 0 years old, and then that the average life expectancy goes down because a lot of babies would die, and a lot of women would die in the childbirth process. A lot of people, they would break their arm and then die because they didn't have medicine to heal their arm, or they'd get a cold one time and they die, or they'd get diarrhea and they die. So they didn't have a lot of support. So of course, modern medicine has helped us to raise our life expectancy in these ways. But it's important that you don't turn it into this mythology of like, well, since our modern medicine doesn't use herbs and fruits and vegetables to heal our patients, that means that that is a less effective way to heal people than the pills. Because the pills is what's causing us to have such a high life expectancy. So that's the fallacy right there that I'm trying to tell you. The pills are not is not what's giving us the high life expectancy. It's all these other things, like you can get surgery when your arm breaks, or if you get into a car accident, you can have facial reconstructive surgery, or you can go on an IV, or a lot of this stuff when you give birth, you're not going to be left to bleed out and die. Or if your baby is born prematurely, we have technology to keep them alive, and it's amazing. It's amazing stuff. Okay. But again, the mythology, the thing I'm trying to point out is that don't assume just because your doctor doesn't recommend you eating fruits and vegetables that is somehow an inferior form of healing chronic illness than a pill that's made in a laboratory is. There's this sort of arrogance in our scientific, materialistic, atheistic culture, this arrogance of almost like we are smarter than nature. we we have invented these high tech tools, these little pills where if I take it, I can like be healed because of how intelligent and how wise we are as a species. And we have rockets that can fly to the moon, and we have electric cars, and we have the internet and iPhones, because we are just so advanced that we can like biohack our health with these pharmaceutical based solutions. And this is way better than these like fruits and vegetables. This is like barbaric ancient stuff, fruits and vegetables. That's like low somehow. That's like just like primitive people squatting in the mud, use that's what they use to heal, herbs and this kind of stuff. But we're way beyond that. So I'm also not saying that all herbal remedies always work all the time. I'm not saying that you can't, take some Chinese medicine concoction and fucking kill yourself with it, or that you can, eat an herb and, have a poisonous herb and kill yourself. So I'm not saying all herbal remedies always work all the time. Do you see the point I'm trying to make, though? You need to understand your mind and the whole cultural paradigm that for over the last 100 years has been intelligently shaped and sculpted by business interest from pharmaceutical companies, meat companies, dairy companies, egg companies, to promote things like the American breakfast. In the 50s, did you know that meat and egg sales and dairy sales were very low, and they had all these sausages and all these eggs that they needed to sell? But people back in the 1940s and 50s, they didn't have big breakfasts. They would just have like a coffee and a piece of fruit, or maybe a croissant or a muffin or whatever it is, and they would kind of just get on with their day. So a big breakfast was not a thing. So meat, dairy, and egg companies, they kind of came together and they devised a plan that they would reach out to doctors and ask them if it could be potentially scientifically healthy to have most of your calories in the morning. So they went to doctors, and doctors said, "Oh yeah, I guess in theory eating a big breakfast could be a very healthy thing and it'd be good." So the meat, dairy, and egg companies say, "Great, we'll pay you $10 million." And they went out to thousands of doctors and had them all to come together to say having a big breakfast that includes protein, a high protein breakfast with eggs, bacon, and this kind of stuff, eggs, bacon, your glass of milk, whatever it is, high protein breakfast can be one of the healthiest things. And this was promoted on TV with doctors on TV. This was in the 50s. Doctors on TV saying, have a big high protein breakfast. So this is how business interest can actually warp and shape the whole paradigmatic view, the culture's view, business interest with marketing dollars and with the ability to pay doctors can shape the entire public view of what is healthy and what is not healthy. Where we get to the point now, 70 years later, in the year 2024, where eating eggs and bacon for breakfast, that's just seen as like a normal thing to do. But medical medium is saying eggs and bacon for breakfast, that'll kill you because your liver is trying to cleanse in the morning. You want to support it with hydrating foods, fat-free foods, because your liver has to work really hard to digest fats. So if you pound it with eggs and bacon, it can't digest any fats. It can't cleanse you of toxins and metals, and can't work on killing viruses or anything like this. Your liver now just has to digest these eggs and bacon. But medical mediums saying instead of that, have lemon water, have celery juice, have lots of fruits, have some melon, some watermelon, have cantaloupe, have 3 or 4 apples, have 5 or 6 bananas, have parsley. You can have leafy greens in your smoothie, but a fat-free smoothie, less, no nuts in there, no oils. Don't crack raw eggs in your smoothie. That's not helpful. Okay, so the fat is not helpful, and we're going to talk about protein in a second. Okay, I'm on fire today, guys. I'm ready to go. All right. So the point I wanted to finish, very important you understand that business interest has and still does shape the general collective view of health and the actual medical curriculums. So even what doctors and nutritionists are actually taught in school is what's good for you and how health works. This can be influenced by business. So for example, in Canada, we had this thing called the Canada Food Guide, where it was this food pyramid, right, of like the food groups that you need to eat. It was grains, fruits and vegetables, meat and eggs, and milk. And that was like how to be healthy. You got to get 2 servings of milk and cheese. You got to get 2 servings of meat and eggs. You got to get your fruits and vegetables, and then you got to get your bread and your grains and your all of this. So that was our health. And that's what I was taught in school when I was 6 years old. So obviously, the Canada Food Guide was influenced by business interests, by dairy companies, by meat and egg companies, by even certain grain manufacturers. You can use ChatGPT to help you find some resources. I've spoken about this in other videos, such as my video "Why Nutrition Information is Full of Shit." It's because It's influenced by corporate interest. And so that's just one example of how the collective culture, the whole government, the federal government can teach all the masses that milk is good for you or that cheese is needed to be healthy. If you don't get your 2 servings of cheese, you're not in alignment with Canada's food guide. Right? So recently that's changed. So we made a little bit of progress there. The point I'm trying to make is that business interest affects health consciousness. And it affects medical curriculums and nutritional curriculums. Very important to understand. The textbooks that are printed are not printed based on how do we make all of humanity healthy. There are deals, shady back-end deals with universities, with these businesses paying millions, billions of dollars to get their information into the textbook, to buy scientific studies, to get a specific result that shows that red meat is not linked to heart cancer or whatever it is. Or, you need animal-based protein in order to build muscle, because they have complete amino acids, right? You can't build muscle if you don't have animal-based protein. God forbid you thought that you could build muscle by just eating lots of healthy fruits and vegetables. No, 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 no. You need meat in order. You need eggs in order to build your muscle. You need milk in order to build your muscle. So I just want to be clear, that's not true. But there's a lot of money to be made for people to think that's true. If people think that's true, which there's many articles that I found personally that I've spoken about in that other video, Why Nutrition Information is Full of Shit, where it actually says, medical articles saying that you need animal protein in order to build muscle because it's a complete amino acid, which is bullshit science. And then you look at the funding of the article. Who funded this website? Who's like the donors? Who paid for this website to be published? You see, they have a list of donors, and there's like egg companies in there, there's meat companies in there, there's dairy companies in there, there's cereal companies in there. So in their healthy recipes, they're telling you to bake your pears in the oven, baked pears. Oh, that's healthy. But, put some feta cheese on there. or, sprinkle some fruit on top of your yogurt so that you can be healthy. So what's so good about medical medium information is that it has zero corporate interest involved. There is no corrupting factor. And it's counterintuitive, because you would think, well, Adam, it's just one guy. So clearly the corrupting factor is actually the potential for corruption is even higher. But in this specific scenario, in this specific case, it's not. Because if you read the medical medium story, he's saying that he's getting his information from the spirit of compassion, who he's been speaking with his entire life. And you might say, well, Adam, so I'm going to trust this guy just because he talks to a spirit? That's fucking retarded. That's like, I'm not stupid, Adam. I'm not like a dumbass like you are. Not going to just believe in any, airy-fairy witchcraft nonsense. Adam, you could say that you channel a spirit, and then you could tell me to go eat, dirt from the fucking ground, and then I would do it, but I'm going to believe you just because you say you channel a spirit. So very important to understand, we're not listening to medical medium just because he says he channels a spirit. It has nothing to do with that. What it's based on at the end of the day is that the information itself, the descriptions of what's actually causing chronic illness are extremely high quality. And you can feel it intuitively when you read it. It's like, oh, wow, this makes a lot of sense. It's like, it clicks, like, whoa. There's copper in my liver. There's viruses eating it and excreting dermatoxin. Okay, that makes sense. And then what it all comes down to is when you implement the protocol, it works. That's what it's based on. I'm not basing this on like, oh, I love medical medium because he talks to God or whatever. He doesn't say that, by the way. But that's not the reason we trust a person. We don't trust him just because he's saying he's channeling. It just so happens that in this case, the person does have contact with a higher source of information. He is gifted in that sense where he is able to feel into people's bodies, and he can actually see into people's bodies and see where there's certain metals, and it lights up to him like a Christmas tree. He can see what's wrong, where the viruses are located in the body, in the brain, or in the thyroid, or whatever it is, and he does get healing information. And there are people who have done this throughout history, like Saint Padre Pio, for example, or Edgar Cayce as well. There are other people in history who have been born with some sort of gift, a healing gift. So it's not super far-fetched. And what's so great about the medical medium information is that you don't even need to believe the premise in order to pick up the info, read it, understand it, and apply it so that it works. And the benefit is that you can help to clean and rid your body of viruses, which is the main thing you should really be thinking about when we're talking about health in general. One of the main things you should be thinking about is, I have viruses in my body and pathogenic bacteria. What foods can I eat to help to kill that? So fruit absolutely is antibacterial, antiviral, and grapes, apples, even certain herbs like celery. So we drink celery juice, parsley, cilantro. Parsley can destroy viruses in your blood. There's certain wild foods like licorice root, for example. Licorice root tea can annihilate viruses in your blood. And again, Medical Medium talks about all this stuff in his book, Life-Changing Foods. There's whole chapters. Look, here's the celery juice recipe. Let's see what else we got. We got oh wow, nettle leaf, right? You want to learn about nettle leaf? I've been drinking nettle leaf tea. Helps to restore your adrenals. Yeah, it's an adaptogenic herb. Okay. So when you're thinking about health, right, and you're reading the medical medium information, the big thing that he's really teaching, here's some main ideas you really want to think about. Number one, fruit is good for you in large quantities. Okay. And you should not be afraid that you're getting too much sugar from your fruit. This is not a grounded way to, you don't need to be afraid of sugar. I know you're told left, right, and center that sugar is bad for you. This is not true in the case of fruit. Okay, so yeah, of course, there's white sugar in your chocolate cake. Yeah, maybe that's bad for you because it's also mixed in there with wheat and eggs and dairy, right? I always say chocolate cake is like if the devil were to invent a food to make humans sick, it would be by putting a cup of sugar into eggs, dairy, and wheat and mixing them up and passing that off. And people have that instead of their fruit. And that's the problem. Like for Thanksgiving, some of my family members, they would eat, their pie, right? And their cake after, the turkey and we had the turkey dinner, and then they have the after the dessert is pie and cake. And then all the fruit that we have is just left on, no one touches it. There's all the grapes are there, the strawberries, the tangerines. It's just no one there. It's like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have had all that cake because now I don't want any fruit. So people will say, oh, fruit is bad for you if you have too much. But if you really think about it, people don't eat that much fruit. We'll have one banana a day or one apple a day, or a handful of grapes here or there, and the rest of their diet is fat and processed foods. And there's hundreds of millions of people with sicknesses and chronic illness. and most people aren't eating fruit. Okay, so fruit is not causing your health problems. Okay, very important to understand. A lot of people will say that fruit hurts their stomach. So yeah, when I have grapes, it hurts my stomach. One of the reasons why is pain. First of all, just the nature of pain isn't always bad. A lot of times it's trying to point out something that's wrong. So when you put your hand in a fire and it's painful, it's trying to point out, hey, get your fucking hand out of the fire. Okay. So if you do experience some sort of pain or stomach ache when you eat fruit, a lot of cases, the fruit is actually trying to help you to cleanse a lot of the gunk and fat that's inside your body. So a lot of people will have eggs and bacon for breakfast, and then they'll have chicken salad with mayo and Caesar salad for lunch, and then they'll have whatever. What else do they have? A peanut butter and jelly sandwich for snack, and then later at night they have some strawberries, and the strawberries hurt their stomach. So, oh, those strawberries, of course, they're not good for you. Gotta get the too much sugar in there. Got to get that out of my diet. To that tangerine, oh my god, it's gonna rot my teeth. Which again is actually not how it works. Um, Fruit does not rot your teeth. Actually, it's antibacterial. The water content and the sugar and the vitamins and the phytochemicals and the antioxidants actually help to clean your teeth. Which is pretty miraculous alongside celery juice as well. And we'll talk about that. So if you eat, let's say, a date and it stings and it burns your teeth, right? So it happened for me. It's actually pointing out that you have a certain problem there. There's a cavity, or there's just, so that the pain is pointing out a problem. All right. So for example, again, if you were to like put antiseptic, like rubbing alcohol or something on a wound, it would sting. But the reason why it stings is because it's cleaning. So the same premise is there when you eat fruit, is that if eating fruit causes you pain, it's again not because there's something inherently wrong with the fruit itself. It's because your body's cleansing and it's sick, and just give it some time. Over time, it won't hurt. You shouldn't, if you're experiencing pain from eating fruit, that means something's wrong inside you, because your metabolism, your body, you're an ape. You need to understand our ancestors have been eating fruit from since the time we had tails. Okay. This is millions of years ago. When we had tails, we were eating fruit. Okay. We've been eating fruit for a long, long, long time. Lots of fruit. We've been eating it. Okay. So this isn't a recent thing that, oh, maybe we're evolving so that fruit's not good for us anymore. And the only thing that's good for us is Pop-Tarts and steak. No, that's not what's happening. Okay. Well, the thing I said before is what's happening. Fruit's really good for you and it's cleansing you. Okay. So number one, medical medium information. Do not be afraid of the sugar content that is in fruit. You can have massive quantities of it. In fact, your whole body runs on it. Your brain is not made of fat, by the way. It's made of glycogen storages. This is another misconception that science has, that the brain is made of fat. So you need omega-3 to make your brain function better. It's actually untrue. That's misinformation. The brain is not made of fat. It's made of glycogen storage. And there's a whole medical medium podcast about that subject, so you can learn about that for yourself. It's also in his Brain Saver book as well. And also, when you eat brain, if you've ever gone to a foreign country and eaten monkey brains or have sheep brain or whatever, you may notice it tastes sweet. That's because the brain's actually made of glycogen storage, and it runs and is fueled by glucose, which is sugar from fruit. So if you ever get into a heated argument where your brain overheats and this kind of stuff, you may crave sugar afterwards, or you're really tired or something, brain fog, you may crave something sweet to give you some energy back, some banana or apple or whatever it is. You might crave a sweet, right? So this is because your body runs on fruit, and realistically, you should be having fruit multiple times per day. I have fruit 3 or 4 times a day. I have fruit for breakfast. I have fruit after breakfast. I have fruit before dinner. I have fruit in my salad. And then I have fruit after dinner as my snack at night. So I'm having fruit all day, and this is good. because your brain runs on sugar and your liver runs on sugar. It doesn't make you fat, guys. I'm 5'7", 5'8". I weighed 150 pounds, okay? As someone who's 5'7", 5'8", and I have very low body fat, like 8%. Like I'm very low body fat. I started following the medical medium diet to a T, which meant I started eating way more fruit and eating way less fatty foods. So less meat. I still have a piece of chicken for dinner once in a while, but it's not the main thing I'm trying to get my calories from. The main thing I'm getting my calories from are from fruit, from potatoes, from squash, from sweet potatoes, from cabbage, from zucchini, from Brussels sprouts, from asparagus, from leafy greens, from salad, the maple syrup that I'm putting on there, lemon juice, parsley, cilantro, tomatoes, onions, garlic, this kind of stuff, herbs from my garden, fruit for dessert after having a smoothie, after, or baking oatmeal cookies with raisin but not wheat, with banana as the base. There's a recipe on medicalmedium.com. I lost 5 pounds as someone with 8% body fat who weighed 150 pounds at 5'8". I was skinny already. And by eating healthy, I actually lost some weight, and it wasn't muscle mass, it was fat. I actually got more cut by eating basically sugar all day. But because you got to understand, fruit is not only sugar. There's not as much sugar in fruit as you think there is. A lot of it is water that's mixed with vitamins, antioxidants, phytochemicals. There's even protein in fruit. There's trace proteins and trace fats in there. So number one, very important to understand, do not be afraid of fruit. You should be the core pillar, the foundation of your diet. Lemon water and celery juice is such a great appetite controller too. Didn't expect that. It's true, because lemon water and celery juice, they help to hydrate you, and they help to give you the right mineral salts that you need. Celery juice is over 70 varieties. There's like 80. I don't know if it's 100. I don't know the exact number, but there's dozens of varieties of sodium cluster salts in celery juice, most of which is undiscovered by medical science and research. Because again, guys, there have been 0 studies done on celery juice, because it is not very profitable to study a herbal medicine that has the potential to basically obsolete a good chunk of medications that are prescribed for spooky chronic illnesses that we have no explanations for. So again, I'm not saying that you should only drink celery juice and that you should, like, never talk to your doctor or whatever, but I'm trying to just tell you the truth, guys. I'm not trying to like lie to you. I'm telling you what I see and what I've studied over the last year just on medical medium stuff. But celery juice is very powerful, and the reason why it helps to curb salt cravings is because most people are sodium deficient. Certain processed food diets and high fat diets can actually prevent your body from uptaking sodium properly. So that means you're always hungry for salt. So you always want your French fries or your hamburgers or your chips, right? The reason why you want that is because you're actually sodium deficient. So a great way to shore up that sodium deficiency is by drinking celery juice in the morning on an empty stomach. And by having your leafy greens, very important as well. The mineral salts in leafy greens are unique. You can't get them from anywhere else. You need those leafy greens, those fresh leafy greens, that arugula, dandelion leaf, spinach, lettuce, different kinds of lettuce. You need that at least once a day. That basically will mean you will never have salt cravings, ever. I never have salt cravings because I have the salt I need in my body with the celery juice and with the leafy greens. Okay. What I do have all day, all the time, is sugar cravings. But what I'm trying to say is that that's not a bug. That's a feature of the human body that runs on glucose. So the brain and the liver And other organs, they run on glucose. Your muscles, they run on carbohydrates. Okay, that's how you produce the ATP to actually use your muscles. It is normal for you to crave sugar whenever you're hungry. You should be wanting sugar. You should be wanting that. This is why people who do carnivore diets, they have like massive, like insatiable, like horrendous sugar cravings, like a demon, like a sugar demon. And they think it's because sugar's addictive, or it's because they're not supposed to have sugar, or sugar's bad for them, or whatever it is. But no, it's because your entire organ system, your brain and your liver literally needs sugar to function and to survive. And when you're starving yourself of sugar by eating only steak, for example, your body is running low on glycogen storages, running really, really low, to the point where eventually you want sugar so bad that you end up breaking your carnivore diet and relapsing, and then you feel shit. You have all this brain fog because your body's broken, because you've been pounding your liver with only steak. And you're yeah, of course, when you go back to eating sugar, all your symptoms are going to come back, your brain fog and your anxiety and all this, because you didn't heal the root cause of the problem. You didn't actually cleanse your liver with lemon water, celery juice, fruits, apples, bananas, parsley, low fat, all this. You didn't actually cleanse your liver. All right, guys, I'm taking another quick pee break. I still got stuff to say. I'm coming back. Just 1 minute stretch break. I'll be back. Hello, welcome. I'm back. What is awareness? That's a good question. Definitely not something to be spoken about. Awareness is what is aware. So, one of the main reasons I talk about the medical medium information is because it does help to support your spiritual work, which actually does bring lasting happiness in your life. The only thing, actually, doesn't matter how much money or how much sex or how much status or how many subscribers you get or whatever, pretty girls or all this stuff. Doesn't matter what you get in your life. At the end of the day, it comes down to your internal work that you do through your spiritual practice, your study, your contemplation of the ideas. And what we're talking about here is health information that is designed to just relatively help and to support the body to be healthy, so that spiritual work can go smoothly. It's hard to do spiritual work and to liberate yourself, to awaken, if you're sick, you have chronic fatigue, or you're overweight, or you're craving sugar all day. Sorry, you're craving salt all day because you're mineral deficient, or you're depressed or anxious because your diet is not working. So this is called the relative compassion. I'm trying to share how to set yourself up in the relative world to then go for the absolute or the ultimate compassion, which is the final awakening, which is the process of self-liberation through meditation and study of various spiritual schools and scriptures, and doing the internal work, the self-reflection. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, that's what it's all about. I don't really care about medical medium information. Really what I care about is knowing the nature of reality for yourself, and fueling your body with good quality fuel, the highest quality. When you go to the gas station, you put in the highest quality gas so that your engine burns clean. That's what I'm trying to help you to do here, so that your car, your vehicle of a body that eventually helps you to awaken and to manifest compassion for all sentient beings. I want that vehicle to run smoothly, to work well, to be clean, and to be disease free. Okay. So understand that the cause of most of your illnesses, unless they're obviously caused, like you obviously have been breathing in asbestos for years and now you got lung cancer, or you fell, you're skiing and you broke your leg. Obviously, we know what caused that. But for most spooky health conditions that seem to be just like chronic migraines, or chronic, shaky leg syndrome, or random tingles and numbness, or I'm getting acne or cysts or all of this stuff, most of this, the medical medium enlightens us and shows us that this is almost always caused by one of three factors. Number one, pathogenic bacteria. So that includes strep, that includes E. coli, or H. pylori. These kinds of pathogenic bacterias, they live in your body for a long time. You can get strep one time when you're 5 years old, and then you can just have strep in your body for the next 30 years. Okay, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays in your body, and then it flares up at certain points in your life. If you've ever had strep, you know how it works. It just flares up, usually when you eat a lot of shitty food, when you get into a very stressful situation, you're stressed at work or school or in your relationships, or it's really cold outside, or whatever it is, the weather changes, it stresses you out. This is when the bacteria will flare up and then cause you a lot of health problems, right? So number one, pathogenic bacteria. Cause of all chronic illness. Number two is viruses. So that includes mostly what we're talking about here is these long-term viruses that are not just like flu. Flu can enter your body for a week and then it leaves, right? And then it tanks your immune system, and it can cause all sorts of issues. So of course, flus are very bad, and we want to avoid those. And there's certain supplements and foods and teas and stuff that you can eat to basically make it so that when you get a flu, you don't even feel the symptoms, because of how clean your body is. Something happened to me recently. But the main cause of chronic illness, number two, is these viruses that stay in your body for a long time. So Epstein-Barr, herpes, shingles, and other viruses. I forgot what the other one was, but HPV, various strains. Many of them are undiscovered by science. So there's various mutations and strains of these viruses that can stay in your body for 10 years, for 20 years, and they can slowly build ranks, and there's different stages, right? So later in your life, by the time you get 30, 40, 50 years old, the virus can mature into later stages. Yeah, we're going to get to toxic heavy metals in a second. Yeah, it's a good point that it's difficult to do spirituality if you're sick. Yeah, and toxic heavy metals in your brain. Yeah, exactly. We're going to get into that in a second. So these later stages of viruses, like stage 3 or 4 Epstein-Barr, this is what's causing thyroid problems. This is what's causing nervous system problems like fibromyalgia, like shaky leg syndrome, like even potentially tinnitus as well can be caused by the virus itself or certain neurotoxins burrowing into the ear canal and in causing it your nervous system to then inflame your ear canal. Okay, so number three cause of all chronic illness is foreign chemical agents and heavy metals. So that can include arsenic, mercury, copper, lead, aluminum from pipes, from pesticides, from car exhaust, um, from silverware, from water alkalizing machines, so water ionizers like Kangen. First of all, it's a scam that I've experienced firsthand. The titanium plates in those water ionizer machines leach heavy metal into your water. And the actual ionization process does actually kill the molecules of the water. No, it doesn't make it more healthy. It actually kills those molecules. If you want to drink structured water and that's something that you value, sure, you can have some clean reverse osmosis water or well water or bottled water, but squeeze some lemon juice in there. And that's how you structure your water, with lemon or with ginger or with aloe. Yeah, so if you want structured water, you can squeeze some lemon in there. That wakes the water up and makes it extremely hydrating. So those were the three causes of virtually all chronic illness that modern medicine and research and science is not aware of and is making a lot of fucking money off of people with chronic illnesses, giving them pills that are immunosuppressants that are only treating symptoms, not treating root causes. And there's a lot of money that's being made by all of these companies that are also suppressing certain health information and promoting unhealthful information. I got ChatGPT to find me examples of meat industries partnering with pharmaceutical industries to promote certain studies that red meat is good for your heart health. So this is like, it's not conspiracy land, guys. This is like the way reality the world works. It's very important you understand the business interest that affects the health field. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to mention with medical medium information, a big thing you do want to understand is protein. Whew, we're taking the lid off. Oh my god, we're gonna talk about protein, guys. Oh my god, buckle your seat belts, please. Put on your seatbelt. Make sure you're sitting down for this one. The protein, the most important thing, right? The thing that everyone always talks about, that you need more of. Always, everyone is worried. Am I getting enough protein? When you go to the store and you check the nutrition facts, the only number you look at is that protein. You want to make sure the protein's high and the sugar's low. Right, guys? The protein, the most important thing. You go to the doctor, you're feeling a little weak, you're feeling tired, you can't get out of bed, you're a little sick, getting migraines. Hey, are you getting enough protein? Because apparently protein is the only metric that exists for whether or not a human being is healthy. The grams of protein. And apparently protein is the only thing that causes your muscles to grow. And if you don't have 200 grams of protein per day, then you can't grow your muscles. And you're going to be weak and scrawny, scrawny and thin, like a spaghetti. You're going to be like a overcooked spaghetti, weak and scrawny, and the women won't like you because you're not eating your meat and your eggs and your fish and your nuts and your fatty foods that we say are high in protein, but actually are mostly fat, and also there's some protein in there as well. So let's talk about protein. Oh my God, protein. So first of all, very important you understand, protein is not the end all be all when it comes to your health, when it comes to building your muscle. You don't need as much protein as you think you do in order to build your muscle. This is something that is literally like an explosive bomb that a lot of people don't understand, because all bodybuilders, the second you step foot into the gym, it's almost like there's people like there's like pamphlets being handed to you about how much protein did you get today? Did you get your protein? Did you get protein? The second you step into a gym, it's just like it's known collectively that you need more protein. So people are pounding their whey protein shakes, their pea protein, their vegan protein. We're just trying to get their protein. Everyone's trying to add protein into their meals, making sure you're getting your protein. You walk through the grocery store, kids are talking to their moms. Mom's like, "Hey, no, make sure there's protein in there. You need protein. Is there enough protein in that?" No. I need my protein. I need my protein. No. I need my. If I don't have my protein, I'm gonna be hungry. So number one, it's important to understand the reason why protein foods satiate you is not because of the protein content, but it's because of the fat content. Very important. Protein cannot satiate you. It's because the foods that your mind associates with being high in protein, chicken, milk, cheese, nuts, and other fatty foods, are fatty foods. So your protein foods that you're making sure that you're getting in every single meal, the reason why it's satiating you is not because they're high in protein, but because they're high in fat. Okay, so it's the fat that's giving you that feeling of satiation. Okay, very important. Number two, the Medical Medium has a podcast about protein. It's an hour long where he does talk about the details of this. So if you're curious, you want to learn more, the Medical Medium does talk about the protein lie, the protein myth. It is based on propaganda. There is massive business and corporate interest that is making sure that you are 1,000,000% convinced that protein is what you live or die by. Because it drives the sales of eggs, it drives the sales of milk, and it drives the sales of meat. Okay? Very important you understand. Eggs, dairy, and meat industries have invested billions of dollars to make sure that the general health discussion in the mainstream consciousness is all focused on protein. We don't have to worry about anything else. We don't have to worry about antioxidants. We don't have to worry about vitamins. We don't have to worry about healthy glucose and water content. We don't have to worry about mineral salts. We don't have to worry about anything. Nothing. All we have to think about is just protein, because it drives the sales of eggs, dairy, and meat. Because when you're doing your diet plan and you're trying to be healthy, you're thinking to yourself, well, I got to make sure I have my protein, right? So, I'm working out, doing my self-actualization, my personal development, my yoga. I'm doing my pull-ups, my push-ups, my squats. I want to have a nice juicy ass so that I can post on Instagram, right? Nothing wrong with that. That's good. I think you should look good and build muscle. But here's the thing at the end of the day. Protein is not the main contributor that builds muscle. Regardless of all of the studies that are telling you about protein synthesis or amino acid chains and all of this, protein is not the main thing that builds muscle. You can build amazing muscle just by getting an average amount of protein. And you can get an average amount of protein. I'm talking literally 30 grams a day, 20 to 30 grams a day. It's all you need to build nice, clean, lean muscles. On 30 grams of protein a day, and you can get that as a side effect of eating a lot of fruits and eating a lot of potatoes and sweet potatoes and spinach and spirulina, and bananas have protein in it, and tomatoes have trace proteins in it. So you might say, well, Adam, but it's not enough. But if you're eating mostly fruits and vegetables, it stacks up to being enough. So you end up getting enough protein, and The big joke that Medical Medium talks about in his protein episodes that are on YouTube and on his website and on his podcast, the big joke is that everyone has enough protein. Everyone's getting enough protein. What people are not getting enough of is healthy glucose from fruits and mineral salts from celery juice and from leafy greens. This is actually what contributes to building your muscle. Your muscle is built in with three things. Number one, glucose. You need carbohydrates. He calls them critical clean carbohydrates. I'm not talking about cakes. I'm not talking about muffins from the bakery. Okay. I'm not talking about Pop Tarts. I'm talking about carbohydrates. Not talking about cereal. Okay. I'm talking about carbohydrate, not talking about bread. Okay. I'm talking about critical clean carbohydrates that come from tangerines, from wild blueberries, from apples, from bananas, from papaya, from watermelon, from cantaloupe, from sweet potato, from regular potato, from cabbage, from zucchini, and from carrots, from beets, from maple syrup, from raw honey, and various other healthy sources of critical clean carbohydrates that he does talk about in all of his books. This actually fuels your muscle. These critical clean carbohydrates, it helps the vitamins from the fruits and vegetables get driven into the muscle tissue, because the glucose drives vitamins and antioxidants and stuff into the muscle tissue. And that's what allows your muscles to work. Okay. So if you are working out, you're a bodybuilder, before you go to the gym, eat a whole watermelon, a big ass watermelon, eat the whole thing, and then go work out and let me know how your workout goes. Want to talk about pre-workout? It's actually retarded, guys. And I'm going to use this word because it connotates the lack of growth. Retardation is the lack of growth. So it's retarded that people are at the gym drinking pre-workout, which is literally destroying their heart and is filled with caffeine and garbage and processed sugar. They're drinking electrolytes and they're drinking branch chain amino acids, not realizing that electrolytes comes from the mineral salts that's in vegetables already and in celery and in herbs. And the pre-workout that they need could have just been a giant smoothie with bananas and wild blueberries or strawberries, or it could have been a whole watermelon. You want to talk about pre-workout? You want to talk about forza, the strength? Have a whole watermelon before you work out, and then go do your deadlifts. See the power that you get. And you have after your celery juice, right? Those mineral salts and that sugar, that's what powers your muscles. And that's actually what grows the muscles, which is very insane. A tip actually for growing muscle, Medical Medium, is he says after you work out to have turmeric, because turmeric actually helps to soak up the lactic acid in your muscles, and it can help them to repair, and it can just overall make your body healthy, because the lactic acid that gets released is actually a little bit toxic. So turmeric can help to balance that out and help your muscles to recover faster. So that's a side tip. But yeah, the muscles can grow on average levels of protein. So I'm talking 20 grams. Like, you literally don't need to think about protein ever. You don't ever. I know it's hard because it's like literally surgically implanted into your brain, deep at the root of your belief system, that protein is like the end all be all. But what I'm saying is, try it out. Do an experiment. Focus mainly on critical clean carbohydrates and mineral salts like celery juice or leafy greens, and get a lot of calories. Make sure you have a calorie surplus. Okay. So you can have 10 bananas Okay, it's good for you. Our ancestors have been eating fucking thousands of bananas for eating 10 bananas a day for many thousands and millions of years. If you're a hunter gatherer and and you haven't eaten in many hours, days, and you come across a banana tree, how many bananas do you think you're going to eat? One? Most people have one banana a day because it's too much sugar. No, you can have 20 bananas like your ancestors would. Okay. Just make sure they're ripe. Don't have green bananas and don't have bananas that are turning brown. Okay. Make sure they're like just about to start speckling. That's when they have the optimum amount of sugar and vitamins and everything. So, not brown bananas, not green bananas, but just the ones that are just starting to speckle. Those ones. Have 20 of those a day. No, not 20 a day. But I've had 12 bananas in a day recently, and I do it multiple times. It's fine. It's good. That's actually your main calorie source. If we're trying to just maximize our health, optimize our mental functioning, and our happiness, our body health, our cleanliness, and we're trying to clean viruses and pathogenic bacteria and heavy metals out of our body, your main calorie source is fruits and vegetables. And you can build muscle on this diet. And it has nothing to do with protein. Actually, protein's good for you, but you get enough of it just by eating a lot of fruit and a lot of vegetables. To think otherwise would be to succumb to the propaganda of over 70 years of egg, dairy, and meat industries influencing the public view and through also university curriculums and nutritional curriculums to overemphasize the role that protein plays in a balanced diet and in a muscle building. The reason why we're addicted to protein and we think we need protein and all we need is protein is because the fat in the protein that always comes packaged together sneakily. Everyone talks about the protein. No one talks about the high fat. That clogs your liver. Too much fat prevents the body from cleansing. This is one of the key ideas you need to understand with medical medium. Too much fat prevents the body from cleansing. Hey, Chris. Yeah, it's all right that you're late. Yeah, sure. Watch the recording after. Too much fat. So what does that mean? Too much oil on your food. Too many nuts. Too much meat. Too many eggs. You shouldn't be eating eggs at all because they feed viruses and make you sick. They feed flus. They feed COVIDs. That's why they raise viruses in the laboratory on egg white and egg yolk. But too much fat, even if you're not eating eggs, does make the healing and the cleansing process a lot harder. It does stress and tax the liver. And if you are looking to heal and reverse any chronic illness, one of the main things you're going to do in every single medical medium protocol is to reduce the fat. So not relying on fat for your calories, relying on critical clean carbohydrates for your calories from sugar. Nuts. Yeah, nuts means like almonds, cashew, walnut. It's okay to have a handful of that. Okay, you can have a little bit of that each day. Okay, medical medium's not saying to never eat that. He has some recipes that have some nuts in it, but it's as a garnish. It's a little bit. If you're looking to heal, if you're sick, right, and you're looking to heal, you have some sort of chronic illness of some kind, bringing the fats down a lot will help the healing process because the fats are a clogging factor. Okay. Some fats, when they're not fully digested, they can harden and rot in your gut and in your stomach. And This creates homes for certain pathogenic bacterias that shouldn't be in your body. They shouldn't be living in your gut and in your stomach. The difference between medical medium and keto diet is a big difference. and I've made other videos on my channel explaining what the medical medium is and what the diet is and how it works and how to apply it. But the main difference is keto, you're eating only fat, which actually doesn't work, which is interesting because a lot of people think they're doing keto, but if you're eating avocado and nuts and oils, you're actually getting sugar from those foods. Avocado and nuts has sugar in it, so you can't enter ketosis. So it's interesting. There's like millions of people doing keto thinking they're going into ketosis eating avocados and nuts, but they can't. You can't enter ketosis while eating those foods. So it's just like the whole premise of the diet's flawed. And that being said, even if you're eating only meat, let's say, you wouldn't want to be on ketosis anyways, because that's a survival mechanism. Your body's literally dying. Your body doesn't switch to burning fat. This is another important thing to understand. Your body doesn't burn fat. Okay. That would mean if someone was overweight by 200 pounds and they stopped eating food, if the body switches to burning fat, that means that that person who's fat, overweight, could live for like 10 years without eating any food because the body would just burn all their fat and use the fat as a food source. Your body can't use fat as fuel. That's not how it works. It's never worked like that. It doesn't happen. Your body uses glucose as fuel. It always has, always will, unless we evolve into a different species a million years from now. But we're not there yet. Okay, so your body always has used glucose and sugar from fruits for fuel. Okay. Fat. So the problem, like I was mentioning, fat can harden and just create issues in your body. So a lot of what we're doing actually when we're healing, a lot of like when we're drinking celery juice, it helps to break down the fats that have hardened, gone rancid, and created homes for certain bad fungus and bacteria in the body. So celery juice helps to break that down and clean it and cleanse it out. You don't want too much fat in your body. It's heavy and it clogs you. All right. You can have a piece of chicken in the evening, or you can have even steak. Technically, doesn't feed viruses. You can have a handful of nuts. You can have some beans. You can have avocado. Avocados are very good for you, actually. I recommend it to have that. But when you're doing medical medium, make sure that there's no fats in the morning. Okay. Hey, Beta. Yeah, I can't explain super quick what medical medium is. It is a source of information that has many different healing protocols for people with chronic illness that make things like the keto diet and the carnivore diet and stuff look like they were made in the Stone Ages. Will AI take over the world? No, I don't think so. I think I don't know. Who knows? Definitely, it's going to be a big thing, though. Yeah, I use AI every day. It's amazing. All right, so staying on track a little bit with the medical medium info. What else did I want to share with you? Yeah, so the best place to start is by buying one of his books. Just buying one book can make a huge difference. Reading that, understanding why the information is amazing. A good book to start with is actually Medical Medium Book 1. Right there, I have it on the shelf. That book gives you his origin story, who he is, his history. He's been working for over 50 years with patients. Yeah, the books are free online. And they're also free as audiobooks as well. I believe on Spotify they are. I don't know where else they are. But you can get the books for free online, I believe. I recommend buying the physical copy just because it's a good investment. It's like you're paying $30. I know, not everyone has $30, but it is good to have the physical book because you can sit on your table, and you can kind of reference it, and it can stay in your mind, sort of thing. So it's something I recommend. But starting in the book's a good place. He has hundreds of free podcasts going deep into all of these topics. If you have a specific illness or a specific chronic issue like a thyroid problem, uh, a skin problem, a chronic fatigue, and all this, he has podcasts about it. Okay, so he has podcasts about protein. He has podcasts about cancer. He has podcasts about fruits and veggies and all this stuff. Okay, so it's a lot of information. Um, the last thing I want to say is I just wanted to encourage you. I think you're a very smart and intelligent person. I think all of you are. And I just wanted to encourage you through this process of making sense of life and of diet. It is a lot of information, and I just wanted to support you and tell you that you are smart. You are able to learn. You are able to make sense of the world. You are able to think for yourself. You don't only have to listen to me. You can, of course, listen to other people, but just keep some of the things I said in mind. That a lot of doctors and a lot of people that are giving you information saying that it's based in science aren't realizing that science is failing right now when it comes to actually knowing how to heal chronic illness and how to actually be healthy. Just beware, please, that a lot of doctors are either knowingly or unknowingly perpetuating certain agendas that are not fully considerate of the overall health of human beings. I'm not saying that as a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying that there is a lot of business interest in the health field. There are many articles that are posted every day that are funded by private interest, which is very important you understand. Not all health info is made equal. The medical medium information is second to none when it comes to clarity of understanding how health works, how viruses work, how heavy metals work, how they affect the body and cause illness, how to get them out, how to optimize your health, your organ functioning, your brain functioning with critical clean carbohydrates, with your mineral salts in your celery juice, in your spinach and your leafy greens. So I wanted to support you in this process. I wanted to remind you that you can be healthy. It is something that is very possible with just something like a 28-day cleanse from the Medical Medium book. You can completely change your cravings that you have if you feel like you've struggled with changing your diet in the past. I'm telling you that by sticking with a celery juice in the morning protocol and a heavy metal detox protocol for 28 days and fruits and vegetables, it may be difficult at first to switch. I know it's hard sometimes to make changes to your diet. I'm telling you that you can change your diet if you stick with it for 30 days. Your gut bacteria will change and will start to actually be more comfortable with eating mainly fruits and vegetables, and you'll actually start to taste the food better. The banana will taste sweeter. The spinach will taste better. The Brussels sprouts will actually taste better. The steamed cabbage will taste better. The eggs, for example, will start to smell disgusting and realize like, oh my God, I really shouldn't be eating this. I think you can slowly implement the changes. Yeah, start with lemon water and celery juice in the morning. You could just start with lemon water. Try to do some celery juice. I think it makes a big difference. And if you could just start with that habit, making celery juice every morning, 10 minutes, right? It's a 10-minute investment. Get used to that. Do it. Force yourself to do it for 30 days. And then it becomes a habit where you can do it while you're on autopilot, like brushing your teeth. You know how brushing and flossing is kind of like annoying and takes a lot of energy, but it's not a big deal for you because it's a habit. You can do it while you're half asleep. Same with celery juice. The brain creates habits when you do something consistently. So the first couple times you make it, it's going to seem like a hassle. But after 30 days, it's going to be like, dude, today I made celery juice. It took me 5 minutes. It was just like, like juice the celery, blend it, strain it, whatever. It's not It's not a big deal, and you get used to it. And that can make a massive difference in your overall health and brain functioning. One of the reasons why I'm able to talk for 2 hours straight and be relatively coherent. Now that's debatable. I'm encouraging you and supporting you, even if you failed in the past. I think you can do it. Even if your family and friends don't support you, I think you can do it. I support you. I think you can focus on yourself and you can really get it done. You can come hang out in my free community calls, which I'm going to be doing every single week. Right now, they're on Sunday, scheduled on Sunday at 1 p.m. EST. You can come hang out and ask me questions in person. If you want the Zoom invite to that, you can go on my website, adammichelli.com, and put your email into the section where it says newsletter. So join that newsletter section, and then I send out the Zoom link to join the free community calls, which are happening every Sunday at 1 p.m. EST. So you can come talk to me and hang out and chill out. I love just socializing and answering your questions about everything about diet, spirituality, life purpose. Getting clear about your passion, who you are, how to make money with your passion, I think is something that's very important. Self-actualization, even relationships and all this stuff. I love talking about that. So I'll even leave a link in the description. You can right now you can try heading to join.adammichelli.com, and that you can put your email in there, and that'll actually make sure that you're signed up to join the weekly community calls. So that's for free. That web page is something that I really scrapped together within like a couple hours. So it's not really a nice web page, but you just put your email in there, and you'll be on my list, and I'll send you the link. And also once in a while, I send out a little newsletter with some cool ideas about spirituality and motivation and insight for you. I want to help to inspire you to become the best version of yourself. I want to help you awaken and really awaken your consciousness to experience true peace and happiness that comes from within. It doesn't come from organizing your external situation into the way that you like it. It comes from doing the internal work that is required in spirituality and this kind of stuff. So I'm here to support you with that. The diet information that I just shared can be very supportive for you in that process. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I love seeing your comments. Thank you for interacting. I love hearing from you guys, even though, I'm a little bit all over the place sometimes with my videos and all of this. I appreciate you guys staying around and even applying. I have people in the chat saying that they've bought the books and they've bought a juicer and they're doing the celery, and they're saying that it's changing their life. I'm getting comments on my videos saying people, they're doing the medical medium stuff and it's changing their life, and have friends reversing their chronic illnesses with this kind of stuff, healing their chronic fatigue and their eczema. So it makes me so happy to see. We're in an amazing time right now where we do have access to this information. We are so lucky to even have this information so readily accessible to us. Not even just in diet, but in spirituality and self-actualization and personal development. We're so lucky the time we live in right now. So take advantage of that. Come hang out with me for free. I want to talk to you and see your face. If you wanted to work with me privately in my paid coaching program, then you can send me an email. My email's on my website, adammichelli.com. Send me an email, say you're interested in that. I work with artists and people who want to actualize their full creative potential and deepen their spirituality and align their work with their passion. So if you're if you're someone who's interested in that, you can send me an email and we'll talk about if you're a good fit for my paid coaching. And otherwise, come talk to me for free, put in your email, all this, bye. I just want to stay here forever, guys. Why don't I just stay here? It's my favorite thing. I'm going to be making more content. Yeah, itching my skin because you suffer from eczema. None of my prescribed meds have worked. I think I missed it, but any advice? Yeah, man, I did give a bunch of advice for eczema. Um, I healed my eczema that I struggled with for since I was 1 years old. So I can totally relate to you, man. It's a horrible plague. And what I healed it for me was the morning cleanse protocol with medical mediums. So the lemon water, the celery juice, and the heavy metal detox smoothie, which I have a protocol, a video tutorial how to make on my channel. Also, watch the recording of this live stream, please. Okay, I know, yeah, eczema is like literally the worst. But I'm telling you, you can heal it. The problem is you have copper in your liver, and there's a virus that's eating it and excreting dermatoxin. So we want to get the copper out, and we want to kill the virus. We do this by drinking celery juice, and we do this by drinking the heavy metal detox smoothie. Okay, it worked for me. It's worked for millions of other people. Um, it's going to work for you. I don't know. I'm not allowed to say that, but because of the law and, I can get sued and stuff. So obviously ask your doctor. Don't listen to me, don't listen to me. Okay, please. But honestly though, heavy metal detox smoothie, it's important. And also Medical Medium has an article on his website called, so search on Google, Medical Medium eczema. Okay. And then listen to that podcast. You can hear it right from the horse's mouth, talking about eczema, how to heal it. Okay. He also has a section in the book Liver Rescue, all about eczema, what causes it, how to heal it. And I'm telling you, if you stop eating eggs, dairy, and wheat, and you focus on lemon water, celery juice, heavy metal detox, very important. You have to do the heavy metal detox smoothie. Okay. I have a tutorial about it on my website because you got to get those metals out. Okay. It's very important. Then lots of fruit, lots of veggies, keep the oils down so your liver can cleanse. We're trying to cleanse the liver, and fat clogs the liver. Okay. So if you want to give your liver, which is what's causing your eczema, if you want to give it an easier time to get the metals out, you need to lower your fat intake, okay? Because fat can clog your liver. So focus on what I talked about in this podcast. You're going to have to watch the replay, okay? But lots of fruits, lots of veggies, and that. All right. Okay, guys. I'm heading out. I'm going to do these more. Hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun. I'll see you. Yeah, man, you can do it, dude. You'll heal your eczema. You could come back in 3 months after you're doing your 90-day heavy metal detox cleanse, and you're not going to have eczema anymore, and we'll celebrate together. Okay. It's something that you don't have to live with it. Okay. I know your meds don't work because doctors and modern science, they don't know what causes it. And it's not because they're bad people. It's not because they don't want to help you. It's because they just don't know. The modern medical establishment would rather make money on selling you cream than giving you the free advice of celery juice and heavy metal detox. All right. So guys, this stuff works. You can try it for yourself. If you don't believe me, you can look at the millions of case studies. If you don't believe me, you can actually read the actual book yourself. If you don't believe me, and you can ask me questions. Come ask me questions live in my newsletter. So go to join.adammichelli.com to join my join. Let me just check if it works. .com. Oh yeah, it works. Yeah, join join up and come hang out on our free weekly group calls and ask me questions about your self-actualization. All right. Send me an email if you want private coaching. So my email's on my website. And all righty then, I'm going to go. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.